Right. 5 February 2025. And today I'm going to be giving you yet another update. Every morning, I give you an update on all the trending news in Zimbabwe and in Africa, with a specific focus on Southern Africa. And today is going to be one of those days when I give you some very important news before it happens. I always give you news before it happens. And we are specifically focused on South Africa. South Africa is in a deep crisis. So the country of South Africa internally, and they are at war in the DRC, where they are facing a major crisis. And today I'm going to unpack for you what is happening. I've got people on the ground in the DRC, and the news that I give you here, even the international news networks, they don't have it because they don't have people on the ground, whilst I have people who are right there in the middle of the action. So currently, South Africa has got soldiers, as I said, who are being held hostage by M23. And these soldiers number about 800 South Africans. There's more soldiers from Malawi and other soldiers from countries from SADC, for example, Tanzania. I do not know how many soldiers the other countries have got, but I know for a fact that South Africa has got about 800 soldiers in there. However, what has happened is there is a base near the airport in Goma, and that is where all the action is taking place right now. And I want to give you the information that I've received regarding the plans of South Africa, what South Africa is planning to do, given that M23, the rebels, have taken their soldiers. And this is very, very bad. What has happened is terrible. So M23 has put in place more soldiers. So I'm going to upload this video later. According to a video that I've seen, M23 has brought in hundreds and hundreds of soldiers or reinforcements. So this has happened yesterday. And if you look at my phone, I've got the picture of M23 here with a lot of soldiers coming in. So that is M23. I have counted in each truck at least 50 men. And we're looking here at almost 2,000 soldiers or reinforcements that have came in yesterday. However, that is not the problem. The problem is that South Africa has got soldiers that are injured and soldiers that have been killed that are still around the base of Sake. So there's a base called Sake, and South Africa has got the number that they've given us, which is 14 killed. And my sources say this number is actually small compared to the number of soldiers that have actually been killed in Sake. Also, inside those bases, there are at least 200 injured South African soldiers. So 200 injured South African soldiers among the 800, and there are bodies still on the ground. So dead soldiers still on the ground, not only inside the base, but around the base. That is both South African soldiers and rebel soldiers, M23. There are bodies on the field that have not been picked up. And that is the current situation over there. So what this means is South Africa is going to have to go and get their dead people. They're going to have to go and get their injured people. And M23 is going to do the same. That is why you're seeing that there is a build-up over there in Sake and in Goma and at the airport. There is a number of forces around there. So Rwanda is in control of the airport. The M23 rebels are in control of the base adjacent to the airport. And there is another group of DRC presidential guard that are after the base. So just outside the base, there is a group of presidential guard of DRC that have refused to be disarmed, and they are fighting. So they've maintained their position over there. And among those DRC soldiers, according to my sources, are some South African soldiers who have been told to maintain their position, and South Africa is expected to bring in reinforcements and build up and attack the base at Sake and eventually take the airport, which is to attack Rwanda and push them out of the airport. So I hope you understand what I've just said. There are three groups, which is Rwanda at the airport, M23 holding South Africans at Sake, dead soldiers inside the base, and injured soldiers numbering about 200 South Africans, and then outside the base, DRC Presidential Guard and some South African soldiers. And the plan is to increase the numbers of South Africans outside the base, attack the base at Sake, and then eventually attack the airport and take out Rwanda. So this is not a secret plan. It is a public plan. And this weekend, on Friday, there's going to be a meeting in Tanzania. And this meeting is going to include SADC and EAC. So East African Community and Southern African Development Community. They're going to meet in Tanzania. And that meeting is going to be a joint meeting at which Rwanda is going to be told that if they don't release the South Africans, they are going to be attacked. So there's going to be an attack on Rwanda. And if Rwanda does not listen to the threats of SADC, there's going to be a war between Rwanda and SADC, and there's going to be an attack on Rwanda. So that is according to my sources. This is what is the purpose of this meeting in Tanzania. It's not a peace meeting. It's a meeting to tell Rwanda that if they don't stop what they're doing, if they don't release the South Africans, if they don't allow the South Africans to pick their bodies, then they are going to get attacked. And as we speak right now, the number is 14 dead. And my sources have been on the ground, and they tell me that there are more bodies of South Africans on the field, still inside the bushes where the fighting was taking place. And the South Africans want to pick up their bodies. They want to pick up the injured, up to 200 South African injured. They want to pick them up, but they can't pick them because M23 is holding them. So the meeting in Tanzania is an emergency meeting at which Rwanda is going to be told that if they don't release the South Africans, if they don't release the injured, if they don't allow the South Africans to pick up their bodies, South Africa will bring in reinforcements and attack Rwanda at the airport. And Rwanda has been asked to leave that airport. So the end result of that meeting in Tanzania is for Rwanda to leave the airport and the M23 to go back wherever they came from, so that Goma is back with the DRC president and the DRC government. So that is basically what it is about. Bodies on the ground, and South Africa has got no option but to attack Rwanda and to attack M23. So let's see how that is going to work. As you know, there is an airport at Kinshasa, and there's also other airports inside of the DRC. However, according to people that I've talked to, the rebel activity is so much that when you're flying into Kinshasa, it's not an easy flight. It's a very difficult flight, and the distances within the DRC are big. They're massive, and the South Africans don't know the terrain. So it's very difficult. So they depend on FADC. So FADC is a group that is also aligned to the government of the DRC. But the difference is that the South Africans don't have the staying power. That is the disadvantage of the South Africans. If South Africans go into DRC, they are going to be dragged into a quagmire, and the South Africans don't want to do that. So the guys from Rwanda, the guys from M23, they know that the South Africans don't have the staying power. So what they will do normally is to just stay back, sit back, and make the time longer and longer. And as the South Africans get more and more tired, they will just move back again. So this issue of the airport is not the final, this is not the final battle. The South Africans will be allowed to take their bodies. They might be allowed to even leave. But Goma is probably going to stay with M23 and Rwanda, which means slowly M23 is going to gain that territory, and probably that will be part of Rwanda going forward. Remember, Uganda is also part of it. Uganda is also fighting on the side of M23, or basically Uganda is staying back. But Uganda has more people that support M23 sitting inside of Uganda. So I think I've covered it. So in summary, there is a meeting this weekend of a joint meeting of EAC and SADC in Tanzania. And the purpose of this meeting is to tell Rwanda to release the South Africans, about 800 soldiers, 165 to 200 injured and dead bodies of South Africans inside Sake base that have not been picked up. So there are two groups of many dead soldiers inside the Sake base who have not been picked up, who are still sitting there. And also at a certain place, let me see what is this place called, just to check what my sources are saying here. There is a place called Mubambiro, where there is some more dead people who have not been picked up from the fields. So that is the current situation in the DRC, according to my people who are on the ground. And as I said, M23 bringing in at least 2,000 soldiers yesterday, preparing for the attack by South Africa and SADC after this meeting that is going to take place in Tanzania. So I hope I've covered this. Very, very important. Are the South Africans willing to take the fight to M23? Are the South Africans willing to engage in a war which they will not win? Or are they just going to beg for mercy over there in Tanzania? So let's see what happens this weekend. President Cyril Ramaphosa, I do not think he is willing to go into a fight that lasts years and years. And South Africa right now in a crisis, as I said. Yesterday, there was an interview by Marco Rubio. So if you haven't seen it, it was on Fox News, in which Rubio accused South Africa of supplying funds or funding terrorist organizations. So I'm going to give you the link later on, and I'm going to put out that clip where Rubio was talking about the current situation, South Africa funding terrorists of Hamas. That is crazy. I can't believe what is happening in South Africa. It's like a joke. Like you try to do something and someone's stronger keeps coming at you harder and harder. And South Africa is going to feel the pain. America is not a good enemy. You must be friends with America. So that was Rubio talking yesterday here. He is now in charge of USAID. And USAID, a very important organization. However, they're going to dismantle USAID. They're going to put it in the State Department. And the time is coming when South Africa is going to confront or to be confronted by the United States of America, especially for what they've done with their case, with the genocide case. It's going to be a very painful period for South Africa. And they're going to be fighting on many different fronts, including in the domestic front. The ANC has picked a very, very strong enemy. Right, I think I've covered this. And as I said, I'll put that little clip by Rubio on our platforms later on so that you can see what he said about South Africa funding terrorist organizations. Now, let me quickly go through the news. And I want to start with a very serious story that happened in Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa arikura vanhu nenzara. So Mnangagwa is a very dangerous person. He's destroyed our country. So this is Blessed Geza, a war veteran. And Blessed Geza has announced last week that Mnangagwa should step down and leave. However, according to my sources, there has been an abduction of Blessed Geza yesterday or overnight. I don't know when this has happened, and I'm here to confirm it. 6 armed men in a quantum have come and abducted Blessed Geza. So Blessed Geza is missing. He is a war veteran, and his bodyguards have reportedly been shot dead, according to the guys that talked to me. So let's see what happens today, if he's still around or if this is just a rumor. So these are the guys who made an announcement with Blessed Geza. So according to my sources, these guys have been attacked, and I do not know whether Blessed Geza is alive or has been arrested or what has happened. As you know, Nox Chivero, Bernard Manyaza, Epson Nenji were the guys who were sitting next to Blessed Geza when he made that announcement that Mnangagwa must step down. So let's see if that is a true story. There is no way of me verifying this story except to go with what I've been given. Then President Hakainde Hichilema is in Japan. As I said, President Hakainde Hichilema is currently talking to Toyota to come and put a parts manufacturing plant in Zambia. So yesterday he traveled by train, and if you go to his platforms, you will see President Hakainde Hichilema over there negotiating a very important deal. I like President Hakainde Hichilema, one of my favorite presidents. I like him. When I went to Zambia, ZANU-PF tried to kill me with poison, but President Hakainde Hichilema made sure that he put some intelligence people on me, and ZANU-PF was not able to do what they wanted to do. Varoi, Varoi, Vezan. Let's go to other news. Stella Nkomo has published something. So she has been at Utrecht or Dash. I don't know what that they call it in India there. She is the ambassador of Zimbabwe to India, and she's looking very, very good. She said she's representing Zimbabwe and showcasing the minerals. Stella Nkomo. Kana kuti motipa number. Then President Maboko has attended the opening of the judicial year of Botswana. President Maboko looking very nice. I think that's his wife there, if I'm not mistaken. I'll ask the guys to do some research and find out who is the wife of President Maboko. And then, obviously, we've had some very interesting showcasing of the farm of General Chiwenga. So, if you go to my favorite person, Mini, you will see that she has shown a video of the farm. So let's go over there so that you can see the farm of General Chiwenga at Chivaraidzo Farm. So go over there to Mini Baloi and follow that account. This is my favorite account, one of the accounts that I watch almost on a daily basis. So let's see what she is saying about the farm. Amazing farm. It's got soya, it's got maize. So I didn't know that General Chiwenga was such a big farm, but check out, I think I'm displaying now, just how it looks.
So with Boss Arthur here at Chivaraidzo Farm, is showing us this beautiful crop, and we are joined by Sidco Zimbabwe's agronomy manager, Dio Porte, and this is the beautiful crop that we are seeing. Check out the uniformity of the crop, the height. It's an endless green belt of SC spikes, the beautiful, beautiful thicket, as you can see. When we were inside there, I was almost lost. You could not find me, but it's a beautiful crop. So this is the tour that we are going to be showing you today. It's a clean crop, beautiful, green, weed-free.
Right, guys, I've shown you enough, so you can go and check it out. I like the soya, I like the maize. Could come and see my farm. Then let's go into the news. I want to look at the newspapers now. So let's look at the newspaper that we've published. We're going to start with the Herald newspaper. So let me see if the Herald newspaper is published. Herald Zimbabwe. Herald Zimbabwe is not published. Chronicle Zimbabwe. Let's see if they're published as yet. Chronicle Zimbabwe is not published. H Metro Zimbabwe. Let's see. This is crazy. These guys are sleeping on the job. Mkoma Sharuko, Zurukufamba say, Mkoma Sharuko is not published. That's unlike Sharuko, not to publish his newspaper early. I normally find he publishes newspaper very early. And then let's go to Newsday Zimbabwe. So Newsday Zimbabwe is one of Mnangagwa's newspapers. It was bought by his son-in-law last year from Trevor Ngube. So here is the newspaper. I don't understand what this newspaper is doing and what is the game plan, but it's saying here, Zimbabwe retraces 2017 steps. And basically this story is showing us that Zimbabwe is going through the same things that happened before the removal of Mugabe. Mnangagwa is just about to be removed. Mnangagwa is gone. So basically what is left is to finalize everything. But Mnangagwa is basically gone and he is no longer of relevance. Mnangagwa has lost influence. However, a very interesting story that I saw in this newspaper, at the back here of this newspaper, obviously yesterday we talked about Mnetsi moving to the UK for 20 million, but there is a captain who is currently fighting to be reinstated. So I'm not seeing exactly where that story was placed, but you can go and check out this newspaper. There is a big story of this captain who was arrested and he's trying to get reinstated. I think it's over here on Southern Times. So check it out here. That is Solomon Jovu appealed to the ZNA commander, Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyatwe, to help him get his job back, but to date, nothing is materialized. So you can go check out this soldier who is trying to get his job back in the Zimbabwe National Army. And as I said, the rest of the newspapers have not published. Venancio Mondlane doing very, very well in Mozambique. My favorite person in Mozambique, the most popular president, second president of Mozambique. Mozambique currently has two presidents. That is President Venancio Mondlane, who is running a parallel government, and also Chapo, who rigged the elections with Mnangagwa. So go check out the account of Venancio Mondlane and go check out all the other accounts over there. So let me see if there's anything else I've forgotten. Then we'll go into community news. So I think I've covered everything here. There is nothing that I think I've not covered. Now let's go into community news. And we're talking here about the project at Victoria Falls. We've got a project where Zimbabweans all over the world are welcome to join the homecoming project, which is being spearheaded by Gambakwe. And under this project, you pay $1,000 deposit, $300 a month for 24 months, and you're going to get a tiny house and become part of our project homecoming at Victoria Falls. People have started paying. If I've sent you the forms, please make your payment so that we can set up and complete setting up the office, and so that we can start work on the ground. We've got a team on the ground over there in Victoria Falls. So that is the tiny house that we're going to be constructing for everybody. That's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom tiny house. And you're going to become part of the company that owns this development on 20 hectares. So we need to get moving. We need to get started. And if you've filled in the forms, please make your payment and then you get your contract within a short space of time. Delivery will be at the end of 24 months. And you're going to be very, very happy. Do not leave the United States, in the UK, in New Zealand, and Australia, in a little house where you spend 90% of your salary on rent. Come home. Mnangagwa is just about to leave. And when he leaves, there will be a stampede to go into Zimbabwe, and you will lose out if you don't start now. Then Mouve, this is the only genuine Mouve that is available. Don't buy imitations. Buy your Mouve from Gambakwe. If you buy Mouve, smell it, and it's got a specific smell that shows you that this is Mouve. If you buy Mouve and it's got no characteristic smell of Mouve, you don't know what you're having. I've inspected the factories where our Mouve is made. I know the tree, the actual tree where it comes from. So do not buy Mouve from unknown sources. Do not be cheap. Otherwise, instead of a 1 liter engine turning into 3 liter, a 1 liter engine will turn to half a liter engine. So buy from Gambakwe. Guys, I need you guys to buy this week. Replenish your stocks. So 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon in the morning boiling water, and 1 tablespoon before you sleep every night. Anti-cancer, anti-high blood pressure, and anti-high blood sugar. So now let's recap, and then we'll look at the comments. We said South Africa is on the verge of attacking Rwanda in the DRC. This week, in fact, between Friday and Saturday, SADC and EAC are going to meet in Tanzania. And Rwanda is going to be warned that they must release the 800 soldiers that are being held at the base at Sake. And there is, as I said, a group of presidential guard outside the base. That is DRC presidential guard who are refusing to surrender, who have been joined by South Africans. And South Africa is expected to increase reinforcements and attack the base at Sake, which has resulted in M23 moving at least 2,000 men into the base and into Goma, waiting for a big battle between South Africa and Rwanda. Rwanda who are holding the airport. And as you know, SADC and also the UN, they have got other soldiers from South Africa who they have inside themselves. So South Africa has got a number of soldiers, most of them being held, but there are also South African soldiers around. And none of those soldiers who are capable to move have been told to leave. And in fact, the job now is to how to get out those 200 injured South African soldiers, how to get the bodies that are on the ground, bodies that have not been picked from where they dropped, where they died during the fighting. There's still bodies inside the bushes which need to be picked up, and there's going to be more soldiers announced. So in South Africa, normally they don't lie. If a soldier is dead, they are going to announce that a soldier has died, and they're going to put him. So we are going to see the accuracy of the information I'm giving you here within the next few weeks, because as we speak, none of the bodies that are inside of Goma has been taken back to South Africa. Or if they have, I do not know about it. However, what I know is that there is more bodies of South Africans who are inside the bushes, according to my sources. And South Africa is preparing to launch an attack on Rwanda because they want to get their injured people out of Sake. They want to get their dead people from the bushes. And they want to get Rwanda out of the airport and to get M23 out of Goma. The objective is clear. Rwanda and M23 need to be removed. That's what the South African objective is. They want to remove M23 and Rwanda from Goma altogether. So that is the objective. The meeting this weekend is going to specifically tell Rwanda that if they don't move from that base, they're going to get attacked by SADC forces. But I don't think SADC forces understand what is coming. I believe that it's going to be very, very dirty. It's going to be a dirty fight, and it will last for months and months. So the strategy that I expect Rwanda to adopt is to just make this thing go on and on. And then South Africa will get tired and leave. That is what I think is going to happen. Right, let's go into the comments. Mkomata says, M23 must be attacked hard, Mr. Muve. M23 is not a joke. It's not a tiny army. I've been looking at the videos here. M23 is very organized. And South Africa, if they are going to go in, they're going to have to go in with everything. They can't go in with half a measure. They have to go in hard. And I don't believe that they're able to go in hard. If I was South Africa, I would just negotiate and beg for mercy and then go out. Because fighting M23 is not a good idea. What M23 has been doing is that they have been recruiting men around Goma. So as soon as they took over, they started to recruit and train men around Goma. So their numbers are not only big, but they also have people inside the community. So you don't know who is M23. You don't know who is aligned to M23. They've taken over the offices and they've got the advantage of understanding the terrain. So South Africa does not understand the terrain at Sake. They are basically constrained to a base. That is why it was easy to attack the South Africans. What the M23 did is they just waited for the South Africans to start having their breakfast, and then they attacked them. They attacked them during breakfast, according to my understanding and according to my sources. So do you see how crazy it is? M23, they know that an army operates on a schedule. M23 doesn't operate on a schedule. They just do what they like, whenever they like. 16 pounds, million, not 20 pounds. What are we talking about? 16 million, not 20 pounds. Please explain. Ngoma Golden. What are you saying, Ngoma Golden Ali? Don't think South Africa would be willing to solve DRC problem military, as it is a modern task that will never come to pass. Bethias, you're correct. The DRC is huge, and the people that are fighting the DRC have got massive amounts of weapons. They are ready for a fight. And South Africa, I don't think, is ready for a fight. I think South Africa, they will do well to maintain peace and to maintain a perimeter, but I don't think they're willing to face off with these guys. So I think the strategy must be well thought out. Talk to these guys from M23, talk to the guys from Rwanda, ask them to leave nicely, if that is what they want. But going into a fight to push them out, it will need many more soldiers. So you need to move at least 10,000 soldiers into Goma just to fight them, men to men. You need to push in drones, you need to push in helicopters, you need to push in tanks, and you need to be willing to stay there and maintain that position. And remember, Goma is not the corner. These guys have been coming from villages, so you have to be willing to push them back to where they came from, which is back into Rwanda. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. And remember, the first rule of war is know your enemy. South Africa knows nothing about M23. They know nothing about Rwanda. They literally know nothing. Rwanda is right here, next door to South Africa, at Mozambique. If South Africa was to attack Rwanda, who knows what will happen down here in South Africa? It's quite a dangerous game that is being played here at this point. And someone has to diffuse this situation. This is a bad situation that can turn very dirty for everybody. And I think the priority here is to get the injured soldiers, the dead bodies, and then to negotiate for Rwanda and M23 to leave. So that negotiation won't take 2 days. And the most important thing is to get out of this meeting on Saturday with a better outcome, which is, remember the many people involved here. There is the French, there's the EU, there is the UN, there's SADC, there's FADC, there's M23, there's Rwanda. It's endless. And then there are those parties who are running businesses or business players who are also involved. This country is the wild west of Africa. And whatever is happening here won't stop. It's going to be a mess. So guys, before I go, let me go and show you my favorite person. My second favorite person after Mini. After President Hakainde Hichilema, after President Dumaboko. That is Nelson Chamisa. I apologize that I didn't play this video earlier. I normally like to play Chamisa early. So let's see what Chamisa has done today. So we did Marco Rubio. So let's look at Chamisa. If you go to, so Chamisa has had an interview. He has explained when he's coming back. And let me show you the video very quickly of Nelson Chamisa. Nelson Chamisa doing very well as an opposition leader in Zimbabwe. So let me show you what Chamisa said yesterday about his plan. So let's go to 4 minutes. Right, I'm going to share now the screen with you. And Chamisa is going to be always popular. The only thing that we need is a strategy. How do we go where we need to go? Nelson Chamisa. So that is Nelson Chamisa on TechMag. You can go check out this interview and let me play it for you so that you can hear it.
I could go on Nyeve, Kauzani, many people who would have wanted to, and many unsung heroes and heroines across the whole country. Look, that is the nature of struggles. It's a journey. Along the way, we lose some, but ultimately, the journey must be completed. And that is the kind of clarity we have, the kind of courage, fortitude, and unbridled determination to make sure that change happens and happens yesterday.
Let's clear the air here. Many people are feeling that you have left the struggle, you have left the political fora, so to say. Are you still coming back to be leading this struggle, so to say?
All those people who feel that way have no feelings.
No, so Chamisa. All those people that feel that way, they've got no feelings. So go check out that video interview by Nelson Chamisa. And also, you can go to your WhatsApp. So if you take your WhatsApp, you look at the bottom, you click updates, and you go and look for the Chamisa News channel. And you're going to see that Nelson Chamisa posts here on a daily basis. Chamisa should use this channel much more because it goes to the raw areas. And anything that Nelson Chamisa says is immediately available throughout the world at his channel. I like it. I like Nelson Chamisa, Chamisa News channel. And Chamisa doing very, very well at 47 years old. The young leader of the opposition in Zimbabwe and the most popular person in Zimbabwe. However, my favorite person in politics is obviously Venanzio Mondlane. I like this man. I said, if Venanzio Mondlane goes into government, I'm going to move to Mozambique and live there in Maputo. Right, I think I've covered everything. There's a lot more happening, but the game, what everyone is watching, is what is happening in the DRC. What will South Africa do next, given that their soldiers, 800 are being held hostage, 165 are injured inside that base, and bodies still on the ground? What is South Africa going to do about that situation? And my sources are right there on the ground. Every day I get updates right from inside the field. The people I talk to are inside the field. They know what is going on. So as I said, you must understand that three groups of South Africans. The South Africans who are inside the base, who are being held hostage. The South Africans that are with the presidential guard outside the base. And the South Africans that are with the UN, with the SADC, and with the UN. So there are three groups of South African soldiers and also the dead South Africans on the field who have not been picked up. That is what is happening over there. And I would like to thank all of you for watching. Please, as I said, make your payment for the Victoria Falls project. We need to raise $20,000 this week so that we can set up the office. The guys are already on the ground and we need to get this moving and buy your pack of Mve. I'm going to leave here with a big salute from Venanzio Mondlane as usual.